Welcome back to my channel, sports fans. Okay, let's get into this one right here. Bronny James, it's official, is a bust. Oh my goodness. Bronny James, it's official. Officially, he is a bust. After preseason, right? If any player that was playing in the preseason to make a team or trying to make a team perform like this, he would have no chance. I don't even think he would have a chance in the D League or G League? I don't even think he would have that chance, right? If you show some potential, you know, that you could put up maybe 10 points per game, maybe 12, they would send you down to one of those leagues. But this guy's potential is not the ceiling, it's the floor. Folks, you can't make this up. And you would think that the NBA, as scripted as it is, would have found some way to make this kid look good in preseason. Off of coming off of signing a 4-year contract. You trying to tell me the NBA, one of the most scripted leagues, according to some of their players, don't kill the messenger. Could it script a better preseason for Bronny James? This makes no sense. This makes no sense, because what they can't do is go into the regular season where there's no more guys on those teams trying to make a team. These are official players of those teams. So what you can't do is all of a sudden this guy turns it on and be putting up 12 and 15 points a game, because he couldn't do that in a lax preseason and basically couldn't do it in the summer league. Yes, he had 2 good games at the end of summer league, but he was atrocious. And for people like Charles Barkley to say this guy's got a bullseye on his back and he's still developing, how do you still develop in the NBA? I don't get it. Playing for any professional sports league is like hitting the lottery. The problem is with Bronny James, he did not have the winning ticket, and they still gave him the jackpot. They still gave him the jackpot. He lied about his numbers. He did not win. Look at this. It says on here that he's 6'2", 210 pounds. Wow. Really? Pretty solid dude for a young guy. Wow. 210 pounds. Wow, I remember when I was that age, I was basically his height, 6'2", nowhere around 210 at that age. You would have to have a good muscle build on you to be 210 at that age. I haven't seen him in person, but yeah, but 6'2". Wow, who is 6'2"? Maybe I think John Stockton might have been 6'2", 6'3". It really don't matter. I'm trying to go through great players that were, undersized in the NBA, or 6'1", 6'2". It don't matter. Those guys who made the NBA at those heights were great. We're great. We're great. We're great. They were great. That's why they were in the NBA. Muggsy Bogues will run circles around Bronny James. All these people who talk trash about Muggsy Bogues would eat Bronny James alive. No comparison. No comparison. And this guy put up last night 17 points in a blowout. Well, you can call that really stat padding. That's LeBron James Jr., a stat pattern. God, look at this score. And I know they wasn't playing no starters, but wow. It just goes to show you that this guy had a chance to like take control of the game and show people everything that everyone was talking about isn't true. Pretty much the C team was out there playing because you got your starters and then you got your reserves and then you got dudes that's just trying to make the team. And this guy put up 17 points in 35 minutes. What? On 41% shooting from the field, 20% from three. I mean, oh, hacking it up, 4 personal fouls. And, what the LeBron fans will do, they will look at, man, Bronny got 17 points, man. Remember, 41% from the field. LeBron, his rookie season, 20 points per game on 41% shooting. Wow. That don't seem like no rookie, no rookie of the year performance to me. So let me check out this box score real quick. So who is this guy? Quincy, the Quincy dude that they've been trying to stop from playing since he balled out last night. Excuse me. Shot 50% from the field, 5 for 9 from the three. Oh goodness, 7 rebounds, 2 assists. He had 4 fouls. I ain't gonna beat up on Bronny for the fouls. These guys, a lot of these guys have fouls, but looks like they was hacking up. Looked like they was hacking Golden State. They all had it because Golden State didn't have a lot of fouls. And when we look at all the numbers, well, they all had a crazy plus minus because they get blown out. Yeah, so Quincy had 22 points on 50% shooting from the field. Golly, 5 for 9 from the three. Woof. Bronny, 1 for 5. Huh. 7 for 17. Well, so that guy was just, I'm an NBA player. Break, boink, break, airball, boink, break, airball, boink, break. He took the most shots. And let me see. I think, well, no, he was second worst from the field. Who was this dude? Jay Hood. He was 3 for 10, 0 for 3 from 3. But yeah, he was the second worst. But he didn't take 17 shots. Bronny took 17. That was a brick fest. That was a brick fest. Shooting 41% from the field. That's not good. And 1 for 5 from 3. Let me look at this real quick. Draymond Green. Why did he play in this game? I don't understand. They didn't have any starters from the Lakers. Why was Draymond Green 16 minutes and 2 points? Like, what were you doing out there? 2 for 2 from the three. I mean, from the free throw line. 4 rebounds, 5 assists. I guess he was trying to get his triple singles, right? 1 block, 1. So he was playing against scrubs. Kuminga was playing. Wiggins was playing. I don't understand why these guys were out there playing. Let me see who else was playing. Looney was playing. Oh, damn near their whole team, really, right? That was good, except for Curry. So, wow. So yeah, let's get on the Golden State. Why was the Golden State Warriors playing all their starters in this game? It makes no sense. And I went back to was telling the buddy this. I said these people have no integrity at all. when it comes to this gambling stuff, right? They're sitting up here playing their starters in like last game when the Lakers played. What were they doing? They were playing their starters just about the entire game. For what? You got all these young guys trying to make the team, and you got these guaranteed millionaires, professional starters with contracts already making the team. But it's really not about that. It's about Vegas, right? If you believe anything could be real in any sport anymore, once they put in Vegas and gambling now, huh? Huh? Don't believe it. I can't believe nothing I'm seeing in college, NFL, NBA, none of this stuff. I can't believe it. I look at some of these NFL games and I'm like, what the hell is going on? This makes zero sense at all. What's going on in this game or game to game? The way these players are playing, it makes no sense. And for the Golden State Warriors to come out and blow out bench players, Golden State Warrior starters, how does that make any sense? How does that make any sense? On the last game, let me see if this was let me see if this was their last game. Golden State. It really don't matter. It really don't matter if it's their last game. You're blowing out. I mean, 132 to 74. At what point? Okay, get your starters in for the first quarter. You see that the Lakers ain't playing nobody. Get your starters in and maybe play them until the second quarter, which is still embarrassing. And get them out by halftime. What are you trying? Are you trying to get these guys some playing time because they don't practice in preseason or the off season because they're on their podcast? Yeah, gotta get them ready. They're podcasting all day. Real great players were in the gym even in the off season. Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Kobe Bryant, Kareem, Bill Russell. These guys were working on the game. Not that you can't still have a life after that, but these guys were working on their game, even in the offseason. These NBA players, they podcast. And they piss on the guys that laid the foundation for them to be able to make millions and podcast, right? How does that make any sense? You're going to piss in the face of your forefathers, your foreparents, or whatever you want to call it, that laid the foundation. It will be like the founding forefathers of this country getting condemned in school, right? Could you imagine that? The founding fathers of this country being condemned in textbooks. I mean, because they did some real messed up stuff if we really look at the reality of it, right? But we won't go there. But I'm just saying, this is what these guys do. They act like children. Your Draymond Greens, all these. We don't heard even JJ Redick, a head coach of the Lakers, and for the NBA to even be associated with this guy shows you what the NBA is. It's not a real sports league. We don't talk about this. I don't want to hear nobody in the future saying this ain't no real sports league. I done heard Derek Fisher already say it. It's WWE. I've been saying it for almost damn 2 years now. And now people want to sneak out the woodworks and say it. Bronny James in the NBA proves that it's the WWE. Now, am I going to say it's like fully scripted? I don't think so. Not to that extent, but look, it's just laxed. So you can do whatever you want. It's not real competitive basketball. They laxed that a long time ago. If you don't have the competitors, you don't have the you don't have the men that you had of yesteryear. You don't have that. These guys, it was a consensus in the NBA that they wanted to play like men. They wanted the hand check. They wanted rough play. They wanted each other to earn it. They would never be with these shenanigans right here. Michael Jordan's son coming into the NBA and not even there. Michael Jordan's son would have made this NBA, both of them, and would have been stars. Bronny James isn't even on the level of a N1 player. That's the sad reality, because a lot of these guys that were N1 players try to make the NBA. And I think Austin Rayford, I think he made the NBA. But a lot of them, I think, maybe played one season or played in that little D League or whatever it is. But ultimately, they weren't good enough to make it in the NBA in the 2000s, because it was still a man's game. Remember, we still had 90s players in there that wanted to play like men. From the first quarter to the damn fourth quarter. And you had to earn your spot. I'm not even sure Adam Silver is even running the NBA. Because you couldn't make a damn mockery out of David Stern in the 80s and the 90s and stuff like that. I told you guys, if they're telling you they're getting paid this amount of money, but you don't see them putting up that amount of effort, it makes no sense. So if the league is just telling the fans that they're getting paid this kind of money, which they ain't, which I don't think they are, but are telling the fans that they're making this kind of money because they want to keep the sales price up on popcorn, food, hot dogs, alcohol, parking, tickets, but the guys really aren't making that kind of money, you can then say, oh, I see now why they're low management. I can see why they're missing all these games. They don't hustle. They didn't what do you call it? They changed the game into a 3-point contest. There's no real men out there bumping and grinding and playing physical. Dudes always crying. Imagine, you just try to wrap your head around some of the stuff that you see, especially with this instant replay. Instant replay in the 80s and 90s? That's a mockery of the officiating, of the officials. We talked about this yesterday. The officials back in the 80s and 90s, and maybe the early 2000s, these guys were known by their name. They were legendary officials. You knew not to mess with them. You're going to get teed up. Ask Rasheed Wallace. They didn't play with this dude. Rasheed Wallace today, and probably since the 210s, could walk up and down the court and protest the official like LeBron James, and nothing would happen. When's the last time you saw LeBron get a tee? He cries and whines every shot he misses. Nobody won't even touch him. They'll let this guy get a clear path to the damn basket. He'll miss, and then he'll be swinging his arms up, crying, going off. Is this guy even a real person? Sometimes you just wonder, is this guy a cyborg or an android? Something like that. I don't know what, because he has the same reaction every time he misses. He throws his arms up or gets mad. Like, what are you mad about? So he definitely couldn't play in the 90s. He would tech out in the first half. He would have, he would be gone. That would be it for him. You couldn't play officials like that. I'm serious. When's the last time you saw this guy get a tech? He complains all damn game to the officials. So yeah, back to the instant replay. What is that? What is that? You're stopping the game because you're trying to tell me the officials don't know what the hell they're talking about. You're going back to look at a foul to see if it was a flagrant, to see if it was this and that. Just a hard foul to the basket. What do you think is going to happen if two dudes run into each other and he's trying to send a guy to the free throw line? It's going to be a hard foul. You know what a flagrant is. Everybody's watching this. You're officials. You're supposed to see a flagrant foul. When they started flagrant fouls in the 90s, it was a flagrant foul. Everybody's seen it. Even the officials. That's what they're there to do, to be officials and see if it was a flagrant. Where are these guys at? Are they in space? They got one job to do and to look at the damn play. It's not a damn football field. It's a basketball court. You should be able to see these things. This is what you get paid for, to see these things. If you don't see it without the replay, what are you officiating a game for? Why are you an official? You're supposed to be an official because you're supposed to know the rules. You're supposed to be looking at the game. Your word is supposed to be the damn gospel, not the instant replay. Your word. Nobody's perfect. If you missed it, you missed it. The play goes on. That's just how it is. You never hear in the 80s and 90s them crying, so, oh, you missed a play. That's why we lost. You missed a play. You live to fight another day. It was another play coming up. And if it wasn't, we'll get it back next time. So you can't convince me that these are real officials today. You can just even look at them. I know it's hard to look at somebody and be like, oh, man, how you know that? Look, I'm just trying to tell you, man. These officials back in the day were grown men. You didn't show them up on the court. They were, look, I've been watching these games like in the 70s. In the 70s, they didn't even dare argue with the officials. Their word was the damn gospel. Or the 60s. Or the 80s. Because if you knew you got a damn T, your coach is going to get mad. You're giving away free points. You didn't get back on defense. You're giving up free points. I didn't really see this type of real officiating, lagging off until maybe like the end of the 90s. They start giving these guys more, or the middle, right? They start giving these guys a little bit more leeway to where they can, protest and say something and maybe walk away. Now, they might protest if it was a timeout and they're walking to the bench and they're trying to tell the official, please, look out for this. Please, you didn't see that? Please, this guy, you know what I'm saying? They're still at the mercy of the official, is what I'm trying to tell you. But that's the only time I ever seen it, kind of like they gave them some type of leeway to start talking to them, to the officials in the late 90s. And if you look at LeBron James since the 2010s, they didn't really care about this guy like that in the 2000s. They would tee him up. But in the 2010s, this guy was Rasheed Wallace 2.0. Imagine a guy like Rasheed Wallace, if he didn't cry his whole damn career, because remember, he was getting teed up all around the court. They didn't play that in the 2000s or the 90s when he was in there. So it just goes to my point. This really didn't start until the 2010s. You never could get in an official's face and show him up. I mean, it's ridiculous. This isn't real NBA basketball. We talked about this. The coaches. What about the coaches? The coaches in the past were psychotic. If you look how, what's his name? Bill Belichick. They were all like that. But I think even worse. Bill Belichick was just always pissed off. Sometimes he didn't even yell or nothing like that. But these coaches were on the sideline. They were yelling at players. They were yelling at, when you was on the court, you blew an assignment. You didn't play defense. You didn't make it back. Or when you came to the bench, they had to tell you what you did wrong, what you need to do better, all this stuff. They were scolding you, schooling you. And then in the huddle, they would get on players. Some of these coaches were psychotic, especially in the 80s. We already know college coaches, psychotic. They can't go out there and physically impact the game. So all they can tell you or do is look at what's going on the court. And they see all the action, what you should be doing, what you shouldn't be doing, all this stuff. These are Bobby Knight. Bobby Knight maybe was the most psychotic, but it was guys just maybe a step down, as psychotic as him. These were 80s, and I wanted to just put it on that era, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s coaches that were psychotic because they wanted to win. That was their job, to win, to make these players better, to run offenses, run defenses. You guys don't understand. These aren't real coaches today. When do you see these guys screaming at players? Remember, the Van Gundy brothers, they used to be screaming. Pat Riley used to be, this is basketball. This is what you get paid for. You get paid for coaching. You see these coaches today, they don't get mad at the players. They get mad at the damn refs. How can you be a coach and you can't even scold your players? You're like the father of the team, and you can no longer do your job. Is it because they're not real head coaches? They're just guys there with the title head coach, and the players just do what they want to do. I mean, we said this before. 4 guys sitting at the 3-point line. Everybody's running the same damn offense in the NBA. So how is that coaching? How is that really coaching? This is what gets me to. Why, if you go back and watch 80s and 90s basketball, I'm not going to try to sit here and say, oh yeah, they didn't need to pick the score. They didn't pick and roll. But I'm just saying, man, these guys, every time they need a pick, LeBron James needs a pick. All this pick all damn game. I just don't remember these guys doing this all damn game in the 80s and 90s. These guys could just take their man. Remember, Magic Johnson all damn game needed a pick and roll, or Scottie Pippen, or you know, of course, Karl Malone and John Stockton did it, but Karl Malone could get his own shot on the block, all this other stuff. Sean Kemp, he didn't need no damn pick and roll. It's just ridiculous. That's why they took the big man out of the damn game. The real big man. So, yeah, this Bronny thing is just, it just confirms to everyone that this isn't a real sports league. And Charles Barkley said something about, was it Charles? No, it was, I think Gilbert Arenas said something about he's not when they talked about him being picked and as a 55th pick, and it's unfair that he's in the NBA just because his father said something about he's not an NBA player, he's an influencer. Now, don't quote me on that. I know he said something about he's an influencer. That's what he is. So you brought an influencer into the NBA. Let me ask you this. Influence what? Influence what? I don't understand. You have basketball players, well, NBA basketball players, who are real NBA basketball players, who are influencers. What the hell did Bronny James influence? I don't get it. Because we know Curry influenced the 3-point shot. Michael Jordan influenced people who play basketball that perimeter players could run a team, could be the star players, could be the ones that win the championships, could be the scorers of the team. What the hell did LeBron influence people to do? Dr. J influenced men or boys, whatever you want to say, to be high flyers. What the hell is Bronny James influencing anyone to do? Putting up these ridiculous stats. I just want somebody to answer me that. Influencer. So he's influencing these children out here to be given things at the highest level that isn't earned from a guy, his father, who was giving things that wasn't earned. A GOAT title, a top 5 title that was never earned through being a great competitor, not having a skill set. Look, you ain't got to be a great shooter, but give me some paint work, right? Be a good be a good professional NBA player in the paint, right? Karl Malone, Charles Barkley, Tim Duncan, Wilt Chamberlain. Be a great paint worker. Give me 10 rebounds and 25 points. The biggest dude in the NBA since the 2010s. Well, you ain't a paint guy. Well, show me you're a good jump shooter, right? At least shoot 40%. You can't even shoot 40%. What about a good free throw shooter? What about staying with one team and winning a championship that isn't a super team? No, you can't do that. So this guy was pretty much gave the status of a top 5 player, LeBron James. With really nothing to show for it. Oh, so y'all ain't trying to show his. I was trying to get into Bronny splits. Oh no, here it is. Here we go. And when we look at from the last game to the first game of the preseason, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 games. 17 points, 4 points, 2 points, 0 points, 0 points, 2 points. Goodness. Free throw percentage. 100%, 0%, 0%, 0%, 0%, 0%. Oof. Um, Let me see. 3-point percentage, 20%, 0%, 0%, 0%, 0%, 0%. Like field goal percentage. 41%, 50%, 20%, 0%, 0%, 16%. Wow. I I don't know what else to say, man. This is like a straight embarrassment to basketball in general on a professional level. I mean, this guy wasn't even. He basically put on a USC performance in the NBA. But that same performance at USC, they're trying to tell us that was good enough to make the NBA. So again, all standards of making the NBA should be lowered, right? It should be lowered to. I don't even know if you could put on this performance in high school. I don't even know if they could get. They will bring you. You wouldn't even be a starter in high school putting on a performance like this. They're showing us that the NBA is no longer a real sports league. And this is what, look, there's no more. We talked about this. Sports, fashion, movies, music, all this type of stuff is garbage. And it started to go downhill in the 2010s. And it just pretty much crashed and burned in the 2020s. Right? So everything is reality, kind of like TV with social media. There's nothing real about anything. So everything is pushed at like reality TV type of level. Therefore, there's no hard work getting put into anything, right? Whether it's movies, music, sitcoms, um, sports, there's no hard work being put in these industries because everybody now can make money off of views, right? They can make money off of views. So it's people actually out there that making money off of fake footage, right? They're putting up these deep fakes, AIs, or people who aren't even there, and people really think this is real. People really think this is. What about all these P Diddy? Remember all them P Diddy videos? AI, deep fakes. All of it was. You can really tell a deep fake, right? Because the outlining of the person, and then the background is kind of blurry and stuff like that. Most of this stuff you see um, on YouTube is deep fakes, and people believe this stuff is real. You got people dunking and doing all these crazy moves, and it's AI deep fake, and people, especially young people, they believe this stuff. This is the stuff they was bringing us in movies decades ago, right? But they have the Hollywood equipment not only to do these deep fakes and AI and stuff like that way back then, but they have they got the technology to make it look actually real. We don't. But we still, you got dummies out there thinking what they see is real. Like LeBron on his Mind the Game podcast. He ain't there. You believe he was there, him and JJ Redick? No, he's not there. You're able to read this. Most of it, these guys have the money to not even be there. That's what most of these podcasts are. Most of these NBA players, most of this stuff you see on TV, most of this stuff you see on social media from these rich people, they know how to, they got money. So they don't have to be at these places actually being there. And the podcast isn't real. It's all AI, deep fake stuff. They got the money. You got to give them credit for that. I mean, you can't knock them. So yeah, the NBA is about fake is a deep fake. It's not real. It's not a real sports league. You might want it to be, but it's not. Bronny James could never come in the NBA in the 80s and 90s. The people would just go psychotic. They wouldn't even put up with LeBron's shenanigans all of his career, let alone let his son come in there. 80s and 90s people growing up, we was different people. We looked at reality. Not that we won't get tricked by the government and stuff like that, but everything. Listen, man. We just had a different temperament. Why do you think LeBron didn't go to New York? He damn sure couldn't go to Boston. They won't have this stuff. They won't have these shenanigans with LeBron James. So he goes to LA. He couldn't bring his son into Boston or New York. LA is more laxed. I'm gonna go ahead and get off this, man. Wow, look for NBA ratings. To be I can't even say the worst of all time, because last year there's guys who has channels who does the NBA ratings, and last year was a disaster. In the regular season, playoffs, finals, holiday games. At least if people don't have time for shenanigans, right? Real sports, real people who like that sport, they don't have time for these shenanigans. And they're not going to watch this crap. And they're not trying to make it no better. They just want to keep coming with the shenanigans. And like I said, they don't care because they're seeing money in all kind of different avenues on social media. So nobody's putting nothing in any. Why do you think ESPN got rid of all these great analysts and TV people? Because they making so much money on social media. Every time they do something on TV, they put it on social media. They making a killing. They don't need to pay great analysts or great talk show hosts. They don't. They making a killing off of social media. So they don't want to pay, for great people. They can get substandard people and still make a killing. NBA still making a killing with substandard players. They could be making more money, but they have to put more into it. We didn't have it like that back in the day. There wasn't all these different avenues to make money. So we couldn't have a substandard product. Because if you had a substandard product back then, they weren't having it. They weren't having it back then. You can have a substandard product today because it's just many different avenues to make money, right? You can't lie to the public over and over again in these different avenues on social media. Even your analysts lie today. These different talk show hosts, they lie today. You even got column writers, they lie. You didn't have that back then. You might have had ESPN, and if they want to be credible, they had to tell the truth. You had your newspaper writers. If they want to be credible, they could tell the truth. It wasn't a lot of avenues to make money. So everything had to be real. Had to be on the up and up. It's not like that today. In anything, in any form of pop culture, it's a joke. They took out all the great producers, all the great editors, all the great directors. They ain't putting nothing into nothing. Because there's money being made in other avenues, which is this social media thing. So anything you've seen on TV is, or just entertainment is substandard. It's not good. Either you was the best or you wasn't. You was the best of the best or you wasn't. No international players could ever beat our college players like that. Yeah, we got beat before, but not over and over again. It could never happen. Our college players were great. Now they got all these international college players. That'd be a joke back then. And we'll talk about. I want to do a piece on international players because I think it's more than that about what's going on, but I don't think they're telling us. Right? Immigrant help is being, you know, for cheap everywhere else, but they're trying to tell us in the NBA it's not like that in the NBA. But any other avenue, right, in the world, immigrant help or labor is for cheap, but in the NBA it's not. Huh. Tell me what you think.